Hello, I'm Rick Hertless, founder of His Gospel Power. Thank you for joining with our program as we look into the book of Daniel. We're in chapter 7. Please go to hisgospelpower.org, click on the donate button or the contact us button, and thank you to all of those who do support our ministry through your prayers and your financial support. So now we are looking at the vision that Daniel had for Belshazzar, really specifically for the kingdom of Babylon. He had already given Nebuchadnezzar had already had the dream that Daniel had interpreted, and now Daniel was given another vision in the reign of Belshazzar, who is Nebuchadnezzar's son. Evidently, the dream was so important, God wanted to make sure Belshazzar had an opportunity also to follow him, and Belshazzar, of course, did not take that opportunity. But so we're looking at Daniel chapter 7, verse 7. We get into the fourth kingdom. And of course, the fourth kingdom is called dreadful and terrible. And I think it's going to be even more so than what you even think. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong. It had huge iron teeth. It was devouring, breaking in pieces, and trampling the residue with its feet. And it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots, and there in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. Okay. Well, first off, this was the Roman Empire, which absolutely was more terrible than all the others. They were cruel. I mean, even though all the kingdoms before it were also, but the Roman Empire, it cornered the market on being cruel. It was amazingly. They ruled with a wrought iron fist. If you came against it at all, you were put to death. It was very cruel. And so that was the short version of the last beast, was the Roman Empire. And of course, it talks about the toes that were mixed with clay and all of those things. That was, of course, talked about in Nebuchadnezzar and in Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and how all of it was kind of mixed together. It was diverse. And it was the Roman Empire was very diverse, and it did crumble and it fell. Okay. And so that's basically, it said it was going to be divided, and it was divided and it fell. But did it fall? Is it gone? Is the Roman Empire gone? Brother Ron.
Well, you just opened up a whole another can of worms on recently. What has Israel said about America? We are considered the new Rome. So, yeah, it does beg the question, did it ever really disappear, or has it just taken different forms throughout history, and now it's just rearing its ugly head? And one aspect which I would agree with, that it never really disappeared, was with Freemasonry. When did Freemasonry actually start?
Well, and when did the Catholic Church start?
Right. Well, you can basically trace Freemasonry back to Babylon in the time of Nimrod.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Babylon.
Yeah, it was Babylon back in the time of Nimrod, is where if not the exact foundation of Freemasonry, but the belief system of Freemasonry started. So you could say that if it started then, and it has been working its way through government, politics, society ever since, when the Roman Empire fell, a section of it did stay around, maybe took on different forms, different leadership. But yeah, has it? And I mean, look at the number one nation in the world that has its deep roots in Freemasonry. I mean, you look around Washington, D.C., and our politics, Freemasonry is everywhere in this nation. I saw a documentary one time that I think really speaks to it. Every president that we've ever had has been a Freemason, except for the ones that were assassinated or they attempted to assassinate. All the way up to even Obama, he was a Freemason. Now, I can't speak for Trump. I don't
know that either. I was wondering that. As you said that, I was wondering that.
I have people that I know that talk about Freemasonry have never said he is, and there's no evidence to it. But that doesn't say anything. So I'm not going to say Trump is or isn't. So I don't know. I've never heard any evidence either way. But up until at least Obama, every president has been, except for those that were assassinated or they attempted to assassinate, to include Reagan. He wasn't a Freemason. They tried to take him out. That's the most recent one. But, I mean, it goes back to that. Has the Roman Empire ever gone away? I would argue in the fact of the core beliefs of it, they haven't. And it's today rooted deeply in American society.
Well, and I just thought I'd Google it real quick. Is Donald Trump a Freemason? And there's a lot of just speculation. I guess nobody really knows. And to tell you the truth, I'm not real sure it matters. God used Hitler. He could still use a Freemason. But at this point in the game, I'm going to say no, mainly because there is so many coming against him. It would seem that he's bucking the system. It does not seem like he's part of the system. He is bucking the system.
And I know you've seen it too. We don't have time to get into details, but you and me have seen evidence of him bucking the Freemason elite. So, I would say probably not, just because of what he has done against those that we know are Freemasons.
And that's what I'm thinking too. But, he does that. He likes to do that OK signal, which many say that is the 666 symbol and it's the Freemason symbol. That means absolutely nothing.
I believe it was Newt Gingrich that said the reason Trump was opposed so much in the election is because he didn't go through the initiation.
Exactly. He did say that. Gingrich said because he did not, it wasn't the initiations. What did he say? I can't remember, but it was he didn't go through the initiations, but I can't remember the word Newt Gingrich said. But yeah, that was the problem. He wasn't part of
the secret society.
Freemasonry. That's what he said. So I don't know. But what I do know is that, let's get back to the book of Daniel, where it talks about, and see if this doesn't sound familiar. Now, this is talking about the end days. We've got the Roman Empire already, and it crumbled. I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to kind of go real far forward and then come back again because I opened that up already. Verse 8, I was considering the horns, and there was another horn, a little one, coming up among them, before whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out of the roots, and there in this horn were eyes like a man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. Well, that's the Antichrist. It's pretty easy. Look at Revelation chapter 13. We've already looked at that before. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising out of the sea. We already talked about that's people, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. And now the beast was like that of a leopard, his feet were like that of a bear, the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him power, his throne, and great authority. And so we're looking at the Antichrist. That's what's going on here in the book of Daniel as well. It's talking about, now, do we really know the first 3 horns? I don't think so.
But it's tough after 2,000, well, even longer than that. Just think of the 2,000 years since Jesus. Right. How many kingdoms have come and gone in the world?
But, and of course we may still be looking at the 3 horns that are going to rise up, and then the Antichrist is going to come out of them. Some have speculated that it's Turkey, Iran, Russia, and I think China. And so that Antichrist would come out of one of those. I'm not going to, that there's 4 horns there. It kind of fits, sort of.
There's over 180 nations. Good
exactly.
luck trying to narrow it down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So but the thing, my point is you can see in here the Antichrist. Now let's get back to the Roman Empire and what we kind of opened up at the beginning of this discussion. Is the Roman Empire done? Now we know it fell technically, but the Western world is governed almost exactly like the Roman Empire. I mean, they had a Senate. They had the Caesar, who was basically a dictator. He wasn't really a president or a king. He was probably more of a king than a president because he was dictator, but he still tried to at least make the appearance that he came under the Senate. And so we see that the same. Really, it looks to me like the English governance is close to Roman Empire because they have a king, they've got a Senate, they've got a House of Commons. So it kind of looks like that. But then, of course, you have us who are governed like the Romans as well. We have a president who is not, of course, a king or a dictator. We have a House of Representatives. We have a Senate. All of those looks like the Roman Empire did not actually go away.
The philosophies, the style.
Right. We still employ that today with us. And so, and we're seeing that, of course, with all of however the world is run in the Western world. It sounds like that is still the Roman Empire to me. And the Bible says, many theologians, many prophets, or those who study prophecy, think that the Antichrist is going to come out of Rome. So now, does that mean the Western world? Does that actually mean Rome? I personally still believe the Pope, until it's proven otherwise, is the false prophet. The current day Pope is the false prophet.
He's doing real hard to fit the profile. He's working real hard at it.
Absolutely. And which means Antichrist has to come soon. I mean, this Pope's not going to live forever. I don't know how old he is.
Well, even the Catholic Church has a prophecy that he is going to be the last Pope.
Right.
So would they want to refute their own prophecy?
Right. And so, that being said, as we look at this prophecy, where it's talking about the last and most dreadful, the most terrible kingdom, I think we're looking at, because it's been going on for 2,000 years. We've really had the Roman Empire for 2,000 years. It's still in effect. Now,
I just thought of another aspect of this. I mean, you brought in the violent government side of it. What if we took it into a more spiritual realm of, look at America and abortion. Just simply put, abortion.
That's true.
We're killing 3,000 children a day. I mean, what other nation is doing that?
Well, and also, when you say, before of whom 3 of the first horns were plucked out by the roots, could we be one of the horns? What if Europe is one of the horns? We're one of the horns. I don't know who the third would be necessarily. I guess unless you're talking about maybe the Vatican. But
well, they are their own.
They are a nation. Well, they're a nation also. Yeah. The Vatican is a nation. It's the only denomination that's a nation. And so, could that be the 3 horns? I think it's pretty succinct here as far as the Antichrist is coming out. I mean, we're eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking pompous words. That's the Antichrist. I think that I think we can agree on that. Although, I guess you could also say that's the false prophet. It gives a lot to think about.
Yeah, yeah.
I personally think we are talking about the Antichrist on this one.
It sounds like someone that's more of a power-hungry world leader than...
Well, but when you put it together with 13:1, it sounds like... See, you got 13:5, Revelation 13:5, and he has given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he has given authority to continue for 42 months. And then it's many times it keeps talking about his mouth. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name. Well, I didn't look it up before, but let's just look. What does pompous mean in the Hebrew? Let me see. Does that mean blasphemous?
In my translation, it says great things.
It sure does. Speaking great things. That's what, and of course, so then it goes right along with Revelation. Because that's exactly what he says. Did he not? And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy. So it sounds like that this is one of those cases to where the translation may not be that great from the New King James Version. It says pompous words. Well, that, of course, pompous words means self-inflated, means that kind of thing. But I think they'd have been better served if they'd have gone ahead and used the direct translation of great things, because it goes along better with the prophecy of Revelation. So we're looking at all of that. I just think that it's interesting. I believe that we're still in the Roman Empire. I don't think it ever truly fell. Now, the Roman Empire as the great power of the world, okay, it fell. But then did the Vatican jump in and kind of take that over? They've been guiding it. I'm going to leave this right here because we're out of time. But the most powerful man in the world, most will agree, leaders and otherwise, is the Pope. If you don't believe that, look at how they bow down to him when they go before him. And if the Pope says something different, they want to try to realign quickly.
Well, you could also put influential in there, not power, influence.
But that's, power and influence, but that two almost go hand in hand.
Well, yeah, they do, and it makes it even worse.
Absolutely. So that's all the time that we have. Thank you for joining with our program as we look at the book of Daniel, and we look in the last days and understand how we are to live for God in these last days. Until next time, I pray you receive His gospel power today.
He died for you. He died for me. From our sin, He set us free. He loved us so, His life He gave. So if we ask, we can be saved. He's calling you, He's calling you. Jesus Christ is calling you. If He's touched your heart and soul, then come let Jesus make you whole. Come near with me and we will pray that all your sin be washed away.